Okay. Stats 2.1. And we're going to start with your cell phones. Everybody has your cell phones out. Go to your screen time for last week. Ask somebody if you don't know how to find that. And I'd like to know.
On Thanksgiving break?
Yeah.
That's not good.
Well, I don't care how long it was. Just tell me the most used thing on your cell phone for last week. What?
5 hours and 2 minutes.
No, what is it?
What's the most used?
Yeah. The most used app.
Mine's TikTok.
Snapchat.
TikTok. We'll just say Tik.
Snapchat.
Snap.
Snapchat.
Anything else? Keep going.
TikTok.
Anything else?
I just don't want it to like my app.
Out of all of you, you only use those two. Instagram. Whatever the most used app is, okay? Instagram.
Mine.
YouTube is the most used.
Meredith.
Pinterest was the most used?
I don't have my screen time on.
Oh, well then that doesn't count. You don't have it on. Why wouldn't you have it on?
Why would you have it on?
Why would
You have to
that?
look at it every week.
How you know that?
What did you what who cares? All right. Okay, so we'll start with these four. All right. The first thing I want to do is well, let's take the poll first. Raise your hand, how many people has TikTok as the most used app? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of you. Okay? How many people have Snapchat? Don't vote. You can't vote twice. Oh my gosh. Snapchat. Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Instagram. Raise your hand. 1. We have 1 at least. 1. And YouTube. 1, 2. Anybody? Was there 2? Raise your hand again. 1. All right. So obviously not everybody could find their information. So that's 12, 13 people, right? So the total. Stop talking, and you should be taking notes and paying attention instead of coming up to my desk after 10 minutes of staring at your homework going, I don't understand this first question, because you were dopes and weren't paying attention. Okay, so there's 13 of you that have these 4 categories on here. All right, this is called a frequency table. And the right column there is your frequency. These are your categories. Okay, so this would be a quantitative result, because we can get a quantity from each of the categories. So categorical variable is the first column. The quantitative variable is the values you get in your categories. All right, so you're going to be asked, is this a categorical piece of information or is it quantitative information? So if they name certain things in the category, if there are names of the things you can vote on in the category, then we call that categorical. If it's based on a value, we call that quantitative. So in this case, this is quantitative. So if I say something like, let's see here. Cars. Cars is the category. And what kind of cars do you have? Chevy, Ford, Lamborghini, Corvette, right? Whatever. So that is categorical. because they have names of the types of cars, right? So these are types of apps that we have here. This is categorical on the left, and quantitative is the number on the right. And you will be asked, is it quantitative or is it categorical? And it'll be obvious. Okay, if they give you names, that's categorical. If they give you a name and then they ask you, like, how many inches is that? That's going to be a quantity, isn't it? So that would be quantitative. Do you all understand the difference between categorical and quantitative? All right, good. So in this case, we have this frequency table. There's the frequency. And relative frequency is percent. All right, so we're going to take your phones, your iPads, whatever, and give you a calculator, and you'll do these percentages here. So 6 out of 13 is going to give you 46% of the students watch TikTok more than anything else in their whole lives. And 5 out of 13 would be 38% are on Snapchat. And 1 out of 13. Well, let's just see what we have left here. 46 and 38 is 70, 84. So 100 minus 84 should be 16. So we're going to divide that up. So 8% and 8%. So 1 divided by 13 is really 7.6 or 7.7%. We're going to round that up to 8% because this has to equal 100%. So you need, when you're rounding these values, make sure that at the end they all add up to 100%, okay? Even though this 8% is really 7.8%. We'll just keep that at 8% and keep it simple. All right? So that's your relative frequency versus frequency. I'm spending a little time on the vocabulary because you need to make sure you have those 4 things. You have categorical, you have quantitative, you have frequency, and you have relative frequency. You got to know what those 4 are. Okay, next, let's draw a bar chart. Who knows what a bar chart is? Okay, a couple of you. So let's draw a bar chart to the side here. We're going to draw 2 bar charts. The first one, it's basically the first quadrant of your graph that you always use. We're going to go by percentages on the y-axis. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100 at the top. So by percentages. It doesn't have to be by percentages, but we're going to typically do that by percentages, all right? And then the x-axis is all your categories. So we have TikTok, we have Snapchat, we have Instagram, and we have YouTube, okay? So a bar chart, you're just drawing bars up to the percentages. So TikTok has 46%. All right, so 46, you got 10, 20, 30, 40. And 46 is about right there. And you would draw a tall bar. And then you're at 38% for Snapchat. So remember where 40 is at. 38% is just right below that line. There's Snapchat. So if you want, you could write the percentages in there to help you remember what they are. And the last 2 are 8%. You also could just write in the names in the bars as well. All right, so that's a typical bar chart. The next thing is to draw a bar chart where the bars are on top of each other, showing that they all add up to 100%. I'll move this up just a little. And let's draw this thin bar chart here. So again, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Good? All right. So again, TikTok's 46%, so 10, 20, 30, 46. Oops. I'll say that's TikTok. And 46 and 38 is what?
Is
46 and 38. What's 40 and 30? What? 84. I thought you said 83. Yeah, 84. So there's 50, 60, 70, 80. 84. So you're going to write Snapchat there. Obviously, you would draw this a little bit bigger so it's easier to do here. I can blow it up here. And then we have 8% and 8% for the other ones, which was, what were they? Instagram and YouTube. So however you got to do it. Instagram and YouTube. And that would be your bar chart on top of each other. This isn't such a bad way to look at it. It makes it really obvious which one is the biggest. So does the other chart. There's just different ways of doing it. All right, so let me give you a real quick advice about the stats and how it's portrayed. To make sure you understand, it's important to choose something that's going to really show the accuracy of what you've done. So I'm going to give you two pieces of information, and I'm not going to lie about either one. Okay? All right. Because I don't want to lie. This doesn't need to be in your notes here. Okay? So I'm going to give you two pieces here. 1 out of every 2 people likes strawberry shortcake as their favorite food. So I could say 50% like strawberry shortcake. Okay? And then I can say, well, another set of data said 10% like strawberry shortcake. Now, I've not lied about either one, but here's where the truth lies. 1 out of every 2 people like strawberry shortcake. Well, what did I do to get that? Well, I only asked 2 people what their favorite food was. And I'm just saying, well, 1 out of every 2 says strawberry shortcake is their favorite food. I didn't lie, but I misled you, didn't I? The 10%, I surveyed 1,000 people, and 100 people said they liked strawberry shortcake as their favorite food. So in both respects, I did not lie, but you see how it can be skewed. Okay? So you could take a lot of different pieces of information. You also could ask a whole bunch of people who, let's just say you ask 1,000 people, but you only say, well, you can only choose between strawberry shortcake and pizza, or strawberry shortcake and spinach. Which one's your favorite food? I mean, you can really skew how the data is portrayed. So my point to you is you need to make sure that when you hear this information, that you look into where they got it. If it sounds too good to be true or something's not quite right, that's your cue to say, okay, I need to see what they did and who they asked. Okay? If you ask a group of people if they believe in, I don't know, getting free food. Well, who did you ask? First of all, did you only ask people at the Social Security line that are there because they're struggling and they need that handout or whatever they have? Well, yeah, you're going to have a lot of people that say yes. Do you see how you can skew the information without lying, and you can be totally genuine and say it's accurate? So you got to be very careful about the data you've been given. All right, enough of the data stuff again. The whole point of a lot of these things that we're doing is to make sure you understand that everything is genuine and real and honest. All right, last thing. Whoops. Pie chart. Who knows what a pie chart is? Okay. So we have 48% of the people that liked what? TikTok? Was it 48?
46.
46? 46%. Well, 50% is half of the circle. So just under half the circle. So 46%. And what did we say? TikTok? What's the next one? 38%. So 33% is 1/3 of your circle. So we're going to say a little bit more than 1/3. And you're kind of guessing at these, okay? So 38%. And what was this one? Snapchat? And the other two are the same, right?
Yeah.
Which we can just split what's left. And that was 8%. And what was it? YouTube and Instagram. And since most of you are going to be doing this on your iPad, you can use different colors and make it all really wonderful. TikTok, blah, 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 Snapchat. Or you can color it different directions, squiggly lines, or whatever, crisscross, whatever you want to do. I don't care. Okay? Do whatever it takes to make it look right and obvious. Pie charts are great, but be very careful. Not everything can be put into a pie chart. Pie charts are based off of 100%. If you ask questions to a group of people, and then you ask the same question to a different set of people, so let's say there's 80 people you ask in the first one, and you're asking yes/no questions or something like that. And you have 70% of the people said yes to a question. In this next set of group of people, there are 500 people. And you ask the same question. And you have 90% of the people said yes. Well, if you put those two together in a pie chart, you have 90% and 70%, right? Well, that doesn't work because it's more than 100%. So when you draw a pie chart, it needs to be with the same group that you're working with that adds up to 100%. If you notice that you have multiple groups, then it's probably not going to work in a pie chart. Big hint. Okay? All right. So that's your lesson. So it's on Google Classroom. You start out with understanding quantitative versus categorical. So begin.